All right, you guys, we are back. Let me know in the comments below if you made it to part three, meaning you have watched part one, part two, and now you have made it with us here at part three of All the Queen's Men, season three, episode five, Lost and Found recap. Okay? All right, you guys. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Now, I know y'all are familiar with this particular bag right here, so this is a strong one. But anyway, you guys, this of course is Midnight. Now, Midnight, like I told y'all, the young lady that wanted to go in and choke on Midnight D, and until she passed out, she indeed passed out. And Madam walks in and is like, what the heck is going on here? So Madam tells Blue to wake her up. So Blue slaps her across the face, and then they splash water in her face until she actually becomes conscious. So then Madam begins to question this girl. Where did you get this money from? You know, she's like, my brother gave it to me. Just like all kind of talk. But then she's like extremely disrespectful to Madam. Like, she doesn't want to tell Madam anything. But then she mentions her brother's name, saying her brother gave her the money and he gave it to her yesterday. So Madam is like, well, how did he give it to you yesterday when your brother was dead? Like, so Madam knows this is Red's sister. So Red apparently has taken this money to somewhere, whether it's his home or gave it to mama. And now Sis is out in the club using it, probably because they have no idea where Red is. Okay, so if y'all don't remember, Red was unalived all the way in season 1, season 2, when Madam found out that he stole her money, and she went and blew up the halfway house. So anyway, mama and his daughter right here, they don't know where Red is. So anyway, we see Madam, and she is making her way because she told, the young lady, look, we're going to go to your house and we're going to figure out where my money is. Because of course, if the money is nowhere else that they can think of, it's more than likely being hidden at Red's house or Red's mama's house. So then we see Madam outside, and she's surrounded by Tommy, as well as Joey, as well as Blue, and Madam, as well as Midnight. And so Madam is big and bold, and she's trying to walk out, and she's like, I'm ready to go, and I'm not afraid, and that Madam talk. Well, Joey tells her there's been this group of motorcycles that's been passing by, back and forth, and I just want you, to be careful. So Madam's like, I'm not afraid. Let me go. Let me get in my vehicle. But then up comes these motorcycles, and everybody is looking, trying to figure out who it is. And when they do figure out who it is, Madam is already in her truck. But he's like, well, if you're the person on the motorcycle, like, well, if you're not afraid, then get out of the truck. And of course, y'all, the person that's on the motorcycle is Fernando, Concierge's brother. So he's like, so you took my sister-in-law out, so why shouldn't I take you out, And she's like, well, I'm right here, do what you got to do. And of course, everybody's like, Madam, don't get out the car, don't get out the car. But Madam is like, look, I'm that chick, and I'm not afraid of anything. So you got your gun, right, Joey? So if something happened, just shoot him. And so Madam proceeds to get out the truck. And again, that's that Fernando talk. Fernando is talking that talk, and Madam, of course, is not standing down. She's letting him know that I'm with it. I'm with the ish. So here we are. Do what you're going to do. But then Fernando and his little motorcycle crew rides off. Of course, they mention he does a little shotgun thing at Blue and Tommy, and it's like, oh, y'all so afraid. Talk about how they jumped, of course, when the car blew up. But hell, anybody would jump if you about to get blown up. Don't nobody want to get blown up, So anyway, you guys, once they're done, again, once he's done taunting them, he and his little motorcycle crew ride off. Then we see everybody is tapping out. Everybody is tipping out and paying Blue or paying Dime. So of course Rashad. Well, first Dime says to Trouble, you're a little short, you know. She's like, you can't be short if you're gonna make it to the big stage. And at this point, Trouble, I don't know if Trouble want to be on that big stage anymore because she knows what comes with it. But Trouble also says, well, that's not the only way I can become be on the big stage, is it? So then she just walks away. So again, Rashawn, he's trying to turn in. Rayshawn, I love Rayshawn, y'all. He's so innocent, so humble, simple. But anyway, he's trying to turn in his money, and he has this little small stack compared to what everybody else has. And he's like, "Oh, I did good, didn't I?" You know, then he wants to shake Dime's hand, but nobody wants to give this young man any kind of affection. No hug, no handshake, nothing. So then, of course, Doc walks up and he has his big stack. He drops it off, and up walks Big D. And Big D is like, and Diamond's like, well, can you tell Amp, you know, Amp needs to bring his money. Where's Amp? So Amp ain't stunned nobody right now. Like, Amp is in his own little world. But then she says to D, I'll just tell Tommy to go get him. And he's like, okay, cool. So you want me to wait for you because midnight is already gone, and you know, I can walk you to your car. And she's like, nah, not really. I can really do it myself. But then he's like so persistent. Oh no, I'll do it. You know, I'm gonna wait for you. So he says he's gonna sit over there at the table and wait. So then Tommy goes in to look for Amp. He's telling everybody Amp has been on one today. Like, y'all really should just leave him alone. But we need his money. We need him so we can shut the club down. So Tommy goes to look for Amp, and Amp is laid out in the men's the main attractions locker room. Poor Amp. He's just drained. Not only is he drained, but he's drunk. Like, he's really been drinking way too much, and Tommy even tells him that. He has to get face to face with him and tell him, dude, you've been doing too much. Like, you need to calm down. So he goes and gives his money to Dime, but he does it like in that make it rain type thing where he's pushing the money, making it rain on Dime, and then he just throws the rest of it at her on the table. Just rude and disrespectful. And Tommy's just like, dude, you need to get it together. But then he asks Dime, like, dang, what did you do to him? Like, what did you do to him, Dime? Because he seems to not be able to get over Dime, and he really is upset that Dime has a relationship, even if it's in Big D's mind relationship, but he hates Amp hates it. He really wants to be with Dime, but he's just so hurt by everything. Instead of just being a grown man and just saying I'm sorry, and she say I'm sorry, and they move on, it's not possible right now for Amp. He's just not in that space. So then we see at the house, y'all. I told y'all last week on the last episode that Detective Davis was coming to get her some of Doc. And yes, indeed, she made her way to his apartment, turned the cameras off, so that there's no evidence that she has been there. And Doc calls her on that. So she came to get some of that PhD. Y'all know what PhD is, okay? So she came to get some of that PhD, and she's like, no, it's not like that. I'm just trying to get you to, basically to try to testify against Madam. Girl, we know you didn't come there to get that man to testify against Madam. We know that you came to get some Doc. And indeed, she did, okay? He, first of all, he puts his little friend out in front of her, and more than talking up to him at his face, in his eyes, she's looking down at his man part. So, yeah, so just needless to say, Detective Davis got her a little PhD, okay? So then, y'all, then we see Madam, and listen, Madam told everybody, I told y'all this lady was a psychopath, but Madam literally told Casanova that the doctors diagnosed her as a psychopath even at the age of 11 when she beat somebody up for talking about her eyes. Now, that's crazy. That's crazy. You, Madam, have to never worry about me looking at your eyes and saying anything about your eyes, okay? So anyway, you guys, then we see Madam, she's made her way into this young lady's house, which is Red's mother's house, as well as she is Red's sister. So she made her way into the house, throws her girl on the couch, and they're both in this denial stage of, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have any money. Who are you anyway? Now, nobody seems to know in this house who Madam is, but everybody on the outside world knows that Madam is crazy and she's not one of those people that you mess with. But then this mama is like, you don't know who I am. So who is this mama? We didn't really get a whole lot, but we do see that this mama was supposed to be taking care of her ex-husband. She took him back from her kids, or his kids. They were trying to take care of him, and she's like, well, if you even cared anything about this man, he would not be sitting here stinking. So again, this is another case where just like how Madam's sister was mistreating their father, this woman is literally doing the same thing. So Madam has no problem with unaliving her. So she's, again, she's talking back and forth. You don't know who I am, and just running her mouth. But she has no idea, again, who Madam is. So Madam is like, I know you're a diabetic, or somebody in this house is a diabetic. And she tells Blue, go to the refrigerator and look for some insulin, and then bring me a syringe. And they fill up the syringe. The syringe is filled up. Madam, she takes the syringe to Madam. And again, in the midst of these people talking this trash to Madam, instead of just saying, hey, here's your money, please, we won't say anything, here's your money. No, they talking this trash to Madam, and Madam proceeds to inject the mama with a syringe, and her lights are literally put all the way out. And then Midnight finds the money in the couch, out of all places, which it would have made sense. They should have just checked this spot first, but he did find the money in that couch. And Red's mama is gone with Red. Like, she's gone to that big eating in the sky. So as y'all can see, she out. Now, if she come back, that'll be interesting. But the way it's looking, she is out of there. So then we see Tommy, who is still in the basement with Casanova. And this is how Big D ends up underground in the basement with Tommy as well as Casanova. Now, you guys, next week, I don't know if Casanova is going to have to unalive him. But at the end of the day, he's a part of it now, because now he has seen something that he has no business seeing, y'all. All right, y'all. Well, that was about it. Did y'all even enjoy this latest episode? What else were you guys looking for to come about in this episode? But we know Madam is a psychopath, and that has literally been proven. She has no problem unaliving people, okay? All right, y'all. Well, that's about it. Thank you all so much for tapping in and tuning in to All Things Ruthless, home of the Ruthless Addicts. Make sure you guys tune in on Sunday, where we will go live and discuss All the Queen's Men, me and my girl EJ, the TV junkie, and our friends, okay? Make sure you all tap in. We had a great time last week, and we're definitely going to have an amazing time this week as well. All right, you guys, that's about it. Thank you so much, and you already know, stay ruthless.